All right, we're gonna take a look at the deadlift. It's something that we see a lot of athletes doing incorrectly or suboptimally a lot. They load their anterior chain, which in turn loads their back a little bit differently, causes them to round, and the end result is a lot of pain. So we do a lot of retraining this movement. So we're gonna use PVC pipe, because whenever you're trying to learn a new skill or retrain something, you don't wanna load it up, and you don't want to move fast. That's when things start to fall apart, right? When we go heavy or we try to move too fast. So, stance, feet go underneath the hips. You can either have your feet straight forward or very slightly turned out. I think straight forward's pretty good though. We're gonna grab this bar, PVC pipe, just outside of your thighs, right? We don't wanna be super wide because then we have to get lower, right? Then some more of a snatch grip position. We don't want that. We wanna be pretty close to our thighs so we can stay as far away from the ground as possible. So to start this, stand up tall, go through your bracing sequence, squeeze your butt, inhale into your belly, exhale, let the ribs drop down, squeeze the abs, inhale again into the squeezed abs. So now you've got a nice braced spine. If you need to learn more about that, find our video. And then keep this bar touching you, keep your head in a neutral position, and start by driving your butt back, right? The way you think about moving has a huge influence on the way that you move. You can have two movements that look very similar but are loaded very differently. If I think about driving my butt back, I get a lot of tension here, right? My head drops down, but my head drops down because my butt, this is my butt, this is my head, my butt drops back, right? I can make it look the same if I bring my head forward, but even in the shoulder, doing this uses different muscles than doing this, even though it's a very similar end looking position. So we don't want to reach our chest forward, right? Because I don't really have any tension in my hamstrings. I want to move my hips back. My head comes down because my hips are going back, and that's going to load the posterior chain. So hips go back, barbell stays on the thighs, knees stay straight, not locked out, but fairly straight. Keep driving back, keep driving back. Now at this point, a lot of people are rocking back on their heels. We don't want that. We want you to be flat-footed. So like someone's pulling on your sweater here, just pull you forward until you have a nice even distribution of weight between the ball of the foot, the lateral edge of the foot, and the heel. And then once you get past that bending point of the knee, past the kneecap, we're driving the butt back, we're past the kneecap. Now you should have a ton of tension here. If not, you're wrong. You need to figure that out. Once you get here, when you have that tension, you need to get down to the bottom and continue to keep that tension. So as you bend your knees, you have to keep driving your butt back until you're about mid-shin. Now this should be uncomfortable. If it's not uncomfortable, you're not in the right position. So now if I just let my knees bend a little bit and come forward here, I lose all my tension there. So then what happens is we're loading our quads. We see people go to stand up, they drive their heels in, and they do one of these and stand up. So we don't want that, all right? Butt goes back, loading the hamstrings, keep the knees straight. Once you get past that bending point, start bending the knees, but driving the butt back here. Notice I still have a nice neutral head position. I'm not looking up like this, right? Now to stand up, you have to think actively about driving your heels into the ground as you squeeze your glutes. You want to think about bringing your hips forward to the bar. That's going to engage the glutes. If you're just thinking, all right, I'm going to stand up, boom, we come up and we hit this position. This is an overextended lumbar. This is using my back to lift and my butt's not on, right? So we really want to be feeling our butt. Drive the butt back, past the kneecaps, bend the knees, keep the tension. I'm squeezing my glutes right now as I stand up. Hips and shoulders are rising at the same time, squeezing my glutes, finishing here, not back here, all right? Very, very important that you think about the muscles that you want to use, and you have to move in a way that allows you to use them, all right? All too often we see people they get into an uncomfortable deadlift position, a proper deadlift position, right? And then once they start working out, lifting, hitting a Metcon, they just default into whatever position they're in. They don't reset it. So if you're uncomfortable with a PVC pipe, you definitely should be uncomfortable with a barbell, all right? Now, there's the cue, heels, right? Well, heels doesn't mean stay on your heels. It means that maybe the weight is too far forward in your toes and we want to bring it back to the heels. This really should be flat foot. Once you're rocking back on your heels, and you can try this, get in this position, rock back on your heels, you're either going to fall or you're going to disengage your hamstrings and load your quadriceps, which we've already said we don't want to do. So anytime that you're getting in this position and you're rocking back, you're actually biasing the front, the anterior chain. We want to keep that foot flat position, and then we can engage the hamstrings. And once you're good at this, yeah, maybe you can lean back in the barbell a little bit to increase the tension in the hamstrings, but you do that by maintaining a flat foot. You get in the good position, and then you push back off the ground. And if your toes come off the ground, guess what? Your hamstrings start to disengage. So, like this, guys, share it, change it up, let us know how it goes for you. We hear over and over and over again, wow, I've been doing that very differently for years. And let us know how it goes for you.